we are at the Camera Raw workflow part 2. So here we are. We were just in fill light, blacks, brightness. Okay, contrast we were at. Never use the contrast slider because there's a better way. The second tab in here, you click that, and you'll see this histogram here. And there's two tabs, parametric and point. You click the point tab and go right to the drop downs. They have medium contrast, you check that out. And then you go to strong contrast, check that out. And then if you want to customize it, you just go like this. You just click this dot and use the up arrow, and that will increase the brights. Okay? If you want to darken it, click this one and click down on the arrow. Okay? So that controls that. And then if you don't like that, just go back to strong contrast and it will reset it. So now my contrast is done. It looks awesome. Go back to the first tab. Because I did my contrast now, my blacks increased when I did that. So now I'm going to have to probably back off on my blacks here to bring back the detail that was in the dog. Alright, so we've done everything down to contrast. Clarity. Clarity is, another word for that is a punch slider. Give some visual punch. You always use clarity. Start off around 25 is good. And don't overdo clarity. Okay, it'll make it look weird. So 60 is around max you want to go. Vibrance is going to pop your color now, okay? There's two sliders, vibrance or saturation. They both pop the color. Which one should you use? Well, saturation you should never use. Rarely use that because it overdoes the color and makes it look unrealistic. Usually with saturation, I actually use it to lower color if I wanted to give kind of a black and white tinted look, right? You can play with those kind of effects with saturation. So I usually leave that alone. Vibrance is the better color popper to use because it only takes the weak colors and increases them. Alright, so same thing. Don't overdo vibrance or it's going to look unreal. We want it to look nice and natural. So bring it up, you know, till it looks good and natural. And that, we just went through everything. That's awesome. Last thing is, click this hyperlink. And that hyperlink, you want to make sure this is checked. Open in Photoshop as a smart object. Hit OK. You always want to open it as a smart object. And the reason why is this. When I click Open Object now, bam, it's going to bring it into Photoshop. And I know it's a smart object because it has these two white dots on it. And the beauty of that is now as I make my different edits here in Photoshop and do stuff, I can always go back into Camera Raw. How do I do that? I double click the thumbnail icon. Double click that, bam, I'm back into Raw with all my adjustments there and I can tweak them however I want. Alright, let's get into special effects now. There's a bunch of other tabs here we want to use. So if I want to add a vignette, I come over here to, where is it? Right here. Lens corrections. Down on the bottom here, lens vignetting. If I drag to the left, it will darken the edges of the photo. See, let's go extreme. See that? That's too much, right? So you keep it subtle so you barely notice it. Midpoint stretches it out, kind of feathers it in. So I kind of like to drag that midpoint out so it's nice and feathered, and then I come back and I control how much vignetting I want. What that does is it adds a burning to the edges there, it darkens them, and then it adds focus to what you have in the middle here, and it adds some drama to your photo. Looks awesome. Another cool effect we could do, let's see here, is, well, that's it for now for that. Okay? Let's say I want to see a before and after. You go to your tab and you hit preview. Actually, let me go to the here and hit preview. There we go. You can see the before and after now. Okay, on to part 3.